In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Side podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight, and sitting across from me is the one and only Cash Kraus.
Hello.
How is it going?
Hanging? Oh, it's hanging.
Well, hanging? Hanging, going.
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Good as always.
Yeah?
Good as always, yes.
Just trying to survive, you know,
Of course.
crazy times.
Right, crazy times. Just PSA, just wear a mask.
Yeah,
Please.
we could probably safely say that at this point.
Goodness gracious. Just do it.
Well, just let us, man. Is it people, man? People just got to go to the lake. They got to go to the lake. They got.
And there's nothing wrong with going to the lake, but just don't have, 500 people congregate in this little area. Just,
well, think about, you could stay at home for 3 months now, and we can have years of fun to come.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can or 20% of people can have fun right now, but while the rest of us suffer for
the next 18 months until there's a vaccine.
We're slowly learning that Americans don't feel much empathy for other.
No,
surprisingly enough,
No.
surprisingly enough, we only care about ourselves.
Yeah.
I think Americans are the last ones to learn that. Everyone else in the world is like, yeah, this is pretty on par with what's going on. Yeah, but so. Time kind of slowing down for us in the States, but time is moving right along for other parts of the world.
And you know what? I mean, while we're basically, just dealing with this virus stuff, we've actually been able to do a lot more movie reviews on this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're dropping episodes every single day of the week now, and this is our segment, our Blockbuster Monday.
Absolutely. Blockbuster Monday, New Movie Monday. We call it from many different things.
Many different things.
But this is our segment where we tried to do a newer movie.
Yes.
And I got a pick this week. And I was pleasantly surprised by my pick, a movie I knew nothing about, an Amazon original titled The Vast of Night, a 2019 American science fiction mystery film, directed by first-time director, inaugural film. Andrew Patterson has never directed anything before in his life.
Nope.
And what a perfect film to be your first film to do. It's just... It was perfect in my mind, just how small it was and how simple it was, but just super engaging. I love this film. I knew nothing about it. It's a perfect summer film, man, and a sci-fi, an original sci-fi. It's hard to come by, and I don't know.
And then like you watch this film, and the first and foremost thing that I have to bring up, I loved the cinematography of this. I thought it was astonishing. Like, I mean, really, really well done. And I'll tell you what blew me away the most about this. This film was made for $700,000.
Financed by the director.
Financed entirely by the director based on former music or producing commercials and shorts for the Oklahoma City
promotional
Thunders.
videos.
Yes.
Yeah. Not shorts, but promotional videos.
Promotional
they weren't
shorts,
They weren't OKC short films like Russell Westbrook star.
Like
sounds amazing.
It does, yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know how he got $700,000 doing that, but
well, I mean,
must be pretty lucrative for sure. Trust me, you don't make that much money editing film for like the Blazers and shit like that. But yeah, he did somehow. But yeah, that's how he got his start for OKC. And I hate the Thunder, but
And you know what? If
I'll
there's
give it to this guy.
Yeah, if there's ever a man who bet on himself, it was Andrew Patterson with doing this film. I mean, to have the self-confidence, to know that you're going to make a great film, that you should be making film, to finance your film at $700,000, to put everything, your life's work, probably your life savings account into this film. I mean, it's really inspirational. Like, really. Like, I walked away from this going, wow, this guy should be making more film.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
we haven't seen the last of him. Oh, yeah.
This is a micro budget, folks. Like, and what he was able to do is just, it was breathtaking, honestly, for what he had to work with.
I agree. It's, I've said it recently. I've said it before, but this is one of my favorite films of this year. Again, I was blown. I knew nothing about it. I'll talk about the premise. The film is set in the 1950s New Mexico. A young switchboard operator and radio disc jockey discovers a mysterious audio frequency that could be extraterrestrial in origin. Yeah. It just hit all the nails on the head for me, man, for this small little sci-fi, this mysterious UFO coming to town. And in the 1950s, they did the 1950s perfect for this. Did. It blows me away that they did all this on a $700,000, because the gym and the dialogue and the costumes and the basketball players, exactly,
in the parking lot,
it felt so real. Wow. And just being that small New Mexico town, like the main road is dirt still. It was perfect. It's so perfect. I couldn't believe it, man.
You know, the town name was Cayuga, right? Which is from Cayuga Productions, which is Rod Sterling's production company that produced The Twilight Zone. So it was kind of a nod to The Twilight Zone. I thought that was kind of cool.
Well, it was an obvious nod at the very start when they do the Vast of Night intro, which is a ripoff of Twilight Zone, obviously.
But again, I really enjoyed that. I thought that was so cool, and it brought like this really unique element to it.
There's so many cool...
And Elseworlds, kind of like immersing yourself into this different kind of world.
Well, there's so many cool, interesting elements that I have not seen a lot in film, or maybe not at all, with the element of like going back to the tube TV in black and white and making it seem like they're being watched. Yeah. Whenever it flashed back to that tube TV in the black and white, I always thought of it as... This is the aliens are watching, and their technology is kind of like 1950s space age technology that we imagined. They have this crappy tube TV, but it can see anywhere, and it's all blurry and black and white and crap, but they can see anywhere, anytime. So it's like an endless technology, and it doesn't need to be crystal clear. But that's what in my mind, that's what they were constantly being watched by, like this aliens. But it never gets into that. It never explains much.
No, it doesn't.
And it doesn't
need to either.
Yeah, it's so beautifully shot, and it all takes place over one night, maybe like a couple hours.
Yeah, within a 12-hour period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. And you talk about one element of cinematography that I really liked was that shot of like the camera sweeping through the town. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it starts from the switchboard, and it goes all the way through the town. And
I was just wondering, how did they shoot that? I was thinking everything. I think maybe it was a man with a gimbal, and then it was a single take, obviously, but just sped up a little bit. Or maybe they did it with a drone.
I know how. You want to know how? He gave an 18-year-old a go-kart, and he said, drive through the town.
Oh,
and that's how they got that shot. It is genius. And so
it looks great, though. It's so steady, too, which is really surprising.
Steady. Yeah.
It must have been like a rigged go-kart.
It was rigged.
Because it definitely wasn't some kid with a go-kart. He's
just like... No, I guess an 18-year-old kid, though, was driving the go-kart.
The smoothest go-kart of all time. Oh, yeah. That kid must have just been feathering the gas.
Yeah, it's nice and easy.
Here, get Johnny. He's the smoothest go-kart we have in town. That's unbelievable. Yeah, that's what I figured. I figured it was something like on a dolly and then sped up somewhere, but it looked so good. And it was such a long take, too. It went on forever. Like through the town, past the houses, almost into the forest. Yeah. But there was a few single takes that really looked amazing. I mean, single long takes, The take when she's in when she first gets the call and hears the sound through the switchboard.
Switchboard, yeah.
It's a 9-minute long take. The camera doesn't switch, and it happens so fast that you don't even, like. I was actually watching this film with a few different people, and I realized like after 5 minutes, like, oh my God, they haven't cut away yet.
No,
like this is a single take, and she's talking this movie. It's not it's not what you expect. It's not like it's heavy on aliens at all.
No, it's not an alien invasion.
It's all
movie.
dialogue. It's 99% dialogue.
Yep.
But she's speaking for 9 minutes straight, man. That was incredible for me. What the chops on that shit.
Oh my God. It was absolutely insane. And these two that starred in this film, Sierra McCormick and Jake Horowitz, have hardly been in anything.
No, they're no ones.
This was one of the first projects they had ever done.
Yeah.
And just the performance.
What a
both
daunting
of them was
task
amazing.
for a director to ask for an actress.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we're going to do a 9-minute take on this little B movie that maybe no one's even going to see. She's like, can we cut it up a little?
Can I at least have a little break here? But this wasn't the only time that they did a long take in this film. The entire time while he's walking her to work, they're just going. I mean, the dialogue back and forth was so quick. It moved the story along. And yeah, I could see with some people how the first 20 minutes might be a little slow for some people, but stick with this movie. That's all I can say, because
absolutely
there are really, really great cinematography moments, but also the dialogue gets there. It gets there, and we start to slowly unravel this very creepy story. And I kind of felt like it was like a night, because I used to listen to these radio shows, these conspiracy shows when I was like 18, and they used to creep me out, and they'd be on from like 9 p.m. to midnight,
Well, yeah,
and
coast to coast.
Coast to Coast was one of them, but then Clyde Lewis was one. I haven't listened to him for years, but he was another guy that I used to listen to.
Coast to Coast is the OG, and it's not as good as it used to be, but with Jim Norrie and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what makes where they would get these callers, and then the callers would all of a sudden cut out. And most of the time, it was just fake. It was just a guy on the other end. Some of those times, man, they never found out or something. Mm-mm. But that's exactly what it made me feel like, too. It was like the start, because it's set in the 1950s, man. This is the start of the UFO craze.
Of course.
Roswell happened in 1947 in New Mexico, the same place that this takes. So it was the start of that, the craze of everyone seeing everything. People getting more cameras, so there's more footage and shit.
Yeah.
And radios being better and TV and shit, so people are able to call in and stuff. But yeah, that was so perfect, man. When he first calls in the caller because he recognized the sound, it's creepy as hell. It's very creepy. It's so well done, and so again, it shows you that you don't need to have all this crazy stuff, these crazy effects. You need nothing.
Nope.
You need a camera and an actor.
Yes,
that's it. That's all you need, and you can make a scene that is just as good as $100 million scene or $1 million scene or anything like that. Because those scenes with just her on the switchboard getting the calls, that one call with the lady saying that she's seeing shit over her house, and they never even mention that chick again.
I know. But like
in a full panic mode. It's creepy, man.
That scene with Billy, the former military vet who calls in, man, that whole scene was just. And you're right. Everything is so simple. I mean, we're literally just looking at Jake Horowitz's character, and he's talking to this guy on the phone. But it is captivating, man. The story is so captivating, and Billy's telling the story of like how only African Americans and Mexicans were taken to this secret location to work
because they wouldn't be believed.
Because they'd be and again, it was the 1950s.
Yeah, and they would take like, it'd be random. Like they would randomly pull some guy from Orlando to come to this, to like sweep. So you would always have guys doing different jobs from different places.
Yep. He said everyone only has bits and pieces of the information.
Exactly.
And it was so smart.
It gives you so little, but it just makes your imagination go crazy.
Exactly.
Because you're thinking, if the military's this good already at hiding this shit, I'm thinking they've been doing it a very long time.
Yeah. And this film is so relevant because they literally came out and confirmed. The Pentagon has just came out about a week ago and said that there have been off-world crafts that have crashed.
Yeah, whatever that means.
That's insane.
But you talked about the first 20 minutes being a little slow. That was my assessment as well, and my one complaint. But this film is so short already. It's so short and so sweet. It's just a breeze to get through. But you couldn't cut out that little 20 minutes.
You couldn't.
Because it feels like the whole film feels like an hour-long X-Files episode without Scully and Mulder,
Yep.
It feels like an anthology you would see on it feels like an hour and a half long Twilight Zone you would see. It's got no real characters or anything you can get behind, or no mystery or anything. Mm-hmm. It's just these people caught up in a crazy situation. So you couldn't cut out those 20 minutes. Because I was thinking the same thing, like, when is this going to get going? but you just need to. And again, you're along for the ride for those 20 minutes because it really, those 20 minutes are all just immersing you into the 1950s culture.
Exactly.
Them talking about the squirrel constantly, and like only in the 1950s would a squirrel biting through a wire be fucking city news.
Yeah.
Every goddamn person knows about that squirrel.
Yeah.
It's a chipmunk,
And
actually.
and that's the thing. Like, they really did. And you have to do that in the first 20 minutes because, you hear these people gossiping about this one person over and over and over again because that is definitely what a small town is like.
Yes.
So they had to immerse you within that world as well. And I got to talk about the first 20 minutes because typically in film, you don't want to go super dialogue heavy unless there's real true meaning behind it.
Yeah.
It can get real tricky. But again, I go back to the cinematography, specifically in the gym. The way they were able to shoot that entire sequence in one take, just coming back and just utilizing the basketball players and the choreography amongst the crowd, the basketball players.
It's so good, too,
then the
and it doesn't
switchboard.
look fake.
It was absolutely beautiful.
It looks like 1950s basketball. Like,
When
these guys are just fucking 10 white guys not jumping when they take a jump shot because the jump shot wasn't invented till the fucking 60s.
Yeah.
So, and that's it. And no 3-point line either. They did. I know I read that in like 9 different articles. It's the biggest thing. And they took away the 3-point line.
They spent $20,000 to take
That's
off
insane
that,
to me that it cost that much.
I know. Well, it does. I mean, think about it. You got to re-wax the floor, and then you got to repaint the floor again.
Well, you have to sand down.
Sand it, I mean.
Yeah, you can't like just peel that.
No.
It's not a sticker. You have to
it is
sand
not.
it down first and then repaint it. 20,000, yeah. But yeah, for that first 20 minutes, you're along for the ride, but it ends up coming into play later with the whole gym and the basketball and everything. That comes into play later. They bring it up like
and so it needed to be there.
it
It wasn't
exactly.
just fluff. Yeah.
Exactly. And it wasn't like, man, we didn't need those 20. You needed those 20 minutes to establish that the whole town is in one area at one time.
Which is very common in a small town to go to those big football games,
Especially in the
basketball
50s.
games. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You didn't have
A lot of
You didn't have 300
options.
channels at home or
Yeah.
internet with porn and shit on it.
did not.
The height of entertainment was the basketball game.
It was.
Yeah, but let's go back. I gotta bring up because I've never seen this done in film before. When Billy calls and he's talking to Emmerich, who's the radio DJ.
Yep.
And he's talking, he's explaining the story, and the story starts slow, and then it really builds up, where he starts talking about, and then the entire screen goes black. It slowly fades to black, and it stays black. It's such a risky move to do that you would never, that they wouldn't allow you to do it with a big budget film.
No, not in a million years.
Never.
No way.
They'd never allow you to go straight back, but it works so well for this film because it makes you feel like you're just listening to the radio.
Yes.
There's no TV or anything. It glued you. I remember watching it with other people. It goes black, and people were just like had their ear to the TV. They just wanted to listen to the rest of this guy's story. It was such an interesting and creative story element, man. I've never seen that before. And the balls on that guy to do that. We're just gonna go black and not show anything. It's insane.
Well, again, and according to Andrew Patterson's IMDb, he was also obviously the director, but also the editor of this film. And again, I just go back to the risk taking and the balls that this guy had, like not only to finance his own film, but to take those risks in the editing.
It was so cool, man. It was such a cool little to do that, and then to really, just to make you feel like you were there and like you were just happened to catch this crazy radio show, in your car or whatever, and you're just glued to it. I didn't need. Because, again, it's not showing you anything either. It's a perfect time for it. Because what else would we be seeing? Would we be seeing Emmerich just sitting there listening to this guy?
Yeah.
It's not showing anything we need to show. But it added to the element because obviously your focus needed to be on Billy and what he was saying.
Yep.
But taking away everything else and just making it so you're listening, beautiful.
It was.
Beautiful,
Beautifully
man.
done.
I couldn't believe it. But, yeah.
And I always thought at the right times, we would go from obviously the story and then back through the tube TV once more. But
and that fucking tube TV was creepy too, man.
It was
you're like,
super.
who's watching?
Well, and then the one time they go completely black and it's just the tube TV.
Yeah.
And that even made it more creepy because it almost feels like a space void.
Well, that's what I'm
where
saying.
Nothing else exists.
That's what makes you feel like they're just in this empty ship with one screen in this giant area, and they're just gathering around watching.
Absolutely.
Because we end up finding out that, like, not only are they here, but they're controlling us through this, like, this sound. And the sound was creepy, too, man. It reminded me of Signs. Remember in Signs when she gets up in the car with the baby monitor and they get the interference of the alien? They're like clicking and shit. It scares the shit out of me, man. But it's I don't know. It's someone that knows this. You could tell the director, he knew exactly like what scares people about aliens. And it's the unknown.
Yes.
It's them communicating amongst each other, and we can only hear it but not be able to decipher what they're saying, and knowing that they're talking about us and shit like that.
And then we go from Billy, and then they realize that the old general has, and we're kind of jumping into some spoilers now with about 20 minutes in, but they come to find out that the deceased general actually had audio tapes of the alien communication. So they go to the library, they grab the stuff, and they're trying to play, and then they come across the old lady.
Yeah.
And dude, that scene when she's talking about her son, and again, it's one of those scenes where you believe her, but is she mad? You know what
exactly.
I mean? You kind of see both, where it was like, man, it was just that smooth balance, and it was so well performed too.
Well, it's that perfect thing of like perfectly encompassing like what someone who saw aliens sounds like, right? It's either they really believe this or they're crazy. And like with Emmerich figuring out at the very end and thinking, oh, she's just crazy. It was perfect, man. It just showed you that like these people that believe it. And again, it was the 50s, so it was the start of this, but it just showed you that anyone that ever had any contact with aliens, it ruins your life, whether people believe you or not. Because it ends up consuming your life.
It does.
And best case scenario, people just think you're the crazy alien lady who just never shuts up about her son just disappearing all the time. So, but you're right. It gave you that perfect element of, is she actually crazy, or did she really see something? You don't know, man. You don't know.
And it set it up perfectly because they walk into Mabel's house, the old lady's house, and she's speaking the foreign alien language right away.
Yeah.
And that really just brings you in, because immediately I was like, and I'm not fluent in a million languages, but I was like, that does not sound like anything.
No.
To me.
And then
it brought a creepy element to it too, right away.
And then it does another single take of her doing the story in one long-winded, wild roller coaster.
Yeah. But it worked so well for this movie. Every time they did a long take, like, again, it's so crazy how he was able to just have the perfect dialogue to keep you captivated in the story.
Those long takes always made me feel like I wasn't the only one like watching these people. Like when it seemed like, it made me feel like, oh fuck, they're listening to like in on all this, and they're seeing. Because again, I mean, they don't know why they're there or anything like that or what they want, but it's them like listening in and like, I don't know, like enjoying themselves.
And Mabel, the old lady, she kept prefacing that that's why everyone's at the basketball game, because they like when the people are alone.
Yeah, and they only go to small towns, and they'll target you, when they know no one else is around, because they know that no one will believe you when no one else is around. Crazy. And then they got this fucking signal that can control people, and then honestly it all builds up to the fucking finale. And I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't watched it, but ties a perfect bow on it, man. It shows I'm so glad it showed something.
Exactly what I was going to say too. Yes.
But because it could have just went black for sure. It could have.
And I thought that was the route they were going.
Yeah, and it could have, and I would have been fine with it. I honestly would have been fine with it. But
I thought the ending was more satisfying, though.
Oh yeah,
and I thought it was deserved too. Like for what we endured, like during the film, I think you needed something, and we got something.
Yeah,
and I thought that was very smart.
Yeah, I'll give this guy the ultimate compliment to Andrew Patterson, but it felt like vintage Spielberg, like Close Encounters of the Third.
Wow.
And just knowing, I know it's crazy, but just
that's a great compliment.
But just knowing your audience.
Yep.
Like knowing, like being able to step out of director and being able to stick. That's always what Spielberg did so well, was he knew what people liked. But that's exactly what I feel with Andrew Pearson, was he was able to step out of the director and be an audience member and know exactly how much we wanted to see to where it wasn't too much.
Yes.
Like
It's
I didn't
where we
want to
didn't
see.
feel
I didn't
like
want
we
to
got
see
cheated
anyone
out for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I didn't want to see anyone get abducted or anything like that. But I wanted at least proof to know that they were for sure talking to something else.
Yep. And this isn't a spoiler or anything, but then that's just that slow pan in the sand.
And it looks so great, man.
It does.
Well, the fucking the UFO must have cost most of the budget, I'm guessing, to render that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it did. It looks so. And I don't want to get into it, but there at one point there is a UFO, but it's just so well detailed and so inventive. There's like little tiny UFOs flying around it as well. Again, if you've seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind, it just feels Spielbergian. It just feels right up that alley, man. So inventive, so creative, so well done.
Yep. I totally agree.
I want to see a million different fucking alien UFO films from Andrew Patterson. This guy, I got a feeling this is going to be like an Ari Aster or someone. This guy's going to be big, I think.
And I think deservedly so. I cannot wait for this guy's next film. I really can't.
This is one, I know, man. This is just, and there's something so cool about this film was because it came out during Corona and everything, it premiered only in drive-ins. This film would have been perfect to go.
A perfect
It would have made you
drive-in
feel
film.
like you're in the 1950s.
Of course. It's just, it really, you're right, man.
But
would've
it
made you
worked.
feel-
I know it worked so, and it's the perfect summer drive-in theater film for sure, man.
And you know what's
Short and quick.
What's baffling with this film too is it's such a good film, but this was turned down by a lot of film festivals. A lot of film festivals.
Yeah.
Because it was a first-time director. There weren't any stars in it. And it's like,
Well, they should have watched it. That's
should have
people that
watched it,
didn't watch it because, man, you watch this film and you know immediately it's there's something special there.
There is.
I mean, if this guy had fucking $1 million, who knows what he could have done?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, give this guy $5 million. What is he going to do?
Yeah, I
mean,
know.
Seriously.
It's but it's but this film maybe is so perfect because it was that low budget and it made you feel just that more immersed in the film
Absolutely.
because it was so quick and it didn't need to be any longer. That's for damn sure. No. But if it was any shorter, man, it would be a fucking TV series or TV show.
TV show, yeah.
Again, it's the perfect length. It hit every mark for me.
And I got to say too, with a guy like Andrew Patterson, it is so inspirational for filmmakers out there, for indie filmmakers to look at this guy and go, it can be done. If you believe in yourself and you have a great story that you want to tell and you have the tenacity to go out and do it, like you really can pull off something amazing. And I mean, you look at the critics who are talking about this film too, and critics are tough. It is really hard to please critics, especially with a micro budget. But people, on Rotten Tomato alone, this film is sitting at a 92% certified fresh with 206 reviews.
Well, trust me when I said, you remember that name, Andrew Patterson.
Yep.
You're gonna be. I got a feeling Amazon is the perfect studio to lock this guy up for like 5 films.
I would hope. Hope they would look at the writing on the wall.
Oh yeah, and it's right up Amazon's alley. You know, this guy's not gonna ask for a lot of money.
No.
And I mean, not like Amazon couldn't afford it, but but they do. They always do smaller things, you know, smaller indie shit. So it's right up. I mean, get this guy before Netflix gets this guy.
Yeah,
because Netflix knows how to get up and coming. So lock him down, man. He's wonderful.
Yes,
I'm so glad I knew nothing about this film going into.
I didn't know anything about this either.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, it came out May 29th is when it came out. But I swear they're just doing they just realized a week ago, oh shit, we got a real fucking gym on our hands.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what happened.
There was no advertisement for this film at all.
I've never heard of it.
I've
never. Literally, we were looking for films, and I saw on Amazon. It was the first thing that popped up. I'm like, oh, this must be new. No, it came out fucking in May. Fucking 3 months ago. So.
And this entire film was only shot in 17 days too.
Well, I mean, yeah, man. What else do you need? It's so simple, and you hit it perfectly when you said it gives. I went away with this film thinking the exact same thing. Like, oh fuck, if I got a good idea, I can make a film just like that. You just need a great idea, man.
Exactly.
You do not need a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
And you can get so many people to help you out with these things too, especially like those special effects. There's only one special effects scene in an entire movie, but you could get people to fucking do that for you.
For
and shit
one
like that.
scene,
Yeah.
that's manageable. You
can
do
go
that.
outside. Yeah, exactly. Because it's so perfect, and it was cheap, but it never felt cheap.
Never.
It never felt like he was cutting a corner to make this cheap.
No.
It felt like he had all the money.
It
It felt like he had all the money he could possibly wanted. With the go-kart scene, that looks so much better than a guy in a go-kart film. It looked like it was probably. It looked like it would take $3 million to shoot at, setting up a dolly and whatever. How they would do it in a
shot. Yeah.
How they would do it in a regular studio film. They would it would take 5 days to shoot that.
Yeah.
It's awesome, man.
It is.
I want to see
really
more of it.
great.
I want to see more of that. Yeah.
Absolutely. One little last thing for the accolades. It did win a few awards, like at Slam Dance Film Festival, but one in particular, it was the first runner-up for the People's Choice Award in the Midnight Madness category at the 2019 TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival.
Yeah. This this film would never get nominated for anything, but I guess it's probably not even in consideration because it technically came out 2019, right? Which sucks. This film should be nominated for fucking something.
It really should.
Or best original screenplay or something like that. I loved it, man.
So
I
did
couldn't
I.
believe. I'm so
I was
happy
blown
walking away
with
from
this.
it.
Yeah.
It's so hard. It's so rare to randomly find a good new movie that you know nothing about. Because you always hear about, if it's good, you're going to hear about it. But it feels good to just stumble upon something.
It does. It absolutely does.
I got a feeling it's not going to be small, though, for long. I got to think that this thing's got to pick up and a lot more people are going to see it.
Yep.
Especially after listening to our podcast.
Right, hopefully. That's the idea. Go and see this film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, do you have anything else, Cash? Or are you good?
That's it. That's all I would say
That's
is
all I have as
go
well,
and see.
too.
It's so quick and easy, man. An hour and 30. It blows past, man. It feels like you're sitting there for 15 minutes. It goes by so fast.
It does. Alrighty. Well, that is our review for The Vast of Night, the Andrew Patterson directorial debut. Go and see this film, guys. It is well worth the watch. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like this video, comment below, subscribe to our channel, hit that bell notification. We drop videos here every single day. If you're listening in audio format, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher, social media pages, Twitter, pagers. Oh, the old pager. The
Can't find us on the
1990s.
pager. Yeah.
Social media, Twitter, Seen It Podcast. Cash is on Twitter. That's just Cash. Instagram, Have You Seen It? Facebook, Have You Seen It Podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause. And until next time.
Bye.